Hi, this is Richard Rackley with Realtors Advantage Plus here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm here today with Dan McKee with KeyRenter Property Management. Thanks for coming in, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, Dan, tell me about KeyRenter Property Management.
So we handle all long-term rentals, primarily single-family homes, 1 to 4 units. We'll do small apartment complexes with off-site management, but primarily it's single-family homes. We make it real easy on the landlord owner, and we take care of everything, soup to nuts, and they get a statement and a check every month, or direct deposit, however they want to handle it.
Right. Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. Let me ask you this: let's say that I own a home, but let's say that I want to buy another home and rent it out. But where do I even start? How do I even know if the numbers would work out?
So that's where you and I work together, and this is something where I don't compete with realtors. I compliment them. So we would go in and talk to the person and say, okay, I do have a lot of people right now who they actually have an existing home. They want to be able to build long-term wealth through real estate. So if you think about it, you have a bank that's going to loan you money, and then a tenant that's going to pay that mortgage down as your home appreciates through time. So think about the asset that you can build over time and the equity in that home. So a lot of people right now, what I'm finding is they have a very low interest rate on their home. They've got, less than 4%, some of them less than 3% on their home. They're trying to buy a new home. The interest rate's higher right now. So how do they offset that? Well, they can work with us together, and they can go in and often, a lot of times, instead of the house they're buying being a rental property, they're actually renting the house they're in now, because they can take some equity out possibly to put towards that new home. They're probably going to be cash flow positive from day one almost, to be able to have things to offset that new home, and they can get the home of their dreams. So we work together. You help them get into that new home, and I take over the management of their existing home.
Okay, so instead of selling my home, I could rent my home out and buy a new home for myself.
Correct.
Okay, so logistically, how does that work?
So
in other words, today I live in my house. I don't want to be homeless, and I don't really have the money to go buy another house yet, unless I had a tenant on the house I'm currently in.
Correct.
So how does all that work out?
So a lot of times there's lenders have certain programs that you can work with them on. And a lot of times it'll be that you can take, if you have a signed lease on your existing property, it needs to be 12 months or longer, a long-term lease on that, but you can use that to help with your debt to income ratio on the new house.
Okay.
So we are, we'll be responsible for that. So we work with you on it, and we'll start, we'll start showing the house. We do all the advertising, we do all the screening. And then once we've executed that lease and then they have a certain move-in date, you can use that to close on your new house.
So I could have a tenant ready like a month out or 2 months out.
Typically, when we sign a lease, we require them to move in within 45 days.
45 days. Okay.
And that, so we don't, it's really because we don't want the property sitting empty.
Right.
If it is a vacant property. Turn costs when you turn over tenants tend to add up. So our goal is to have it rented out consistently long-term over time. But we would work together. I've got minimum property standards. I've got an owner move out checklist to go through. So to make sure that everything in that home is ready to be able to move a tenant in. And then, we would show the property just like a real estate agent like yourself would show it if you were selling it. So we would be able to coordinate schedules to bring people in to view the property, even if you're still in there, and then determine what their move-in date would be. You had mentioned also about, getting that good tenant in there. A thing that I hear a lot is people are concerned about evictions. They're concerned about damages being done to their home. So that's something where I think that we're very prideful on, and we really do a good job. I went with this particular franchise with KeyRenter nationwide with over 8,500 doors under management properties. They had less than a 1% eviction rate last year.
Okay.
So that
comes from good screening on the front end?
Absolutely. So we've got a great screening team. If somebody were a self-managing landlord, they might just go out to one of the rental sites and they'll do a credit check and a criminal background check. But our people are actually going in and they're interviewing the person. And so they're finding out their demeanor. Are they agitated? Are they nice? Are they cooperative? They're doing those sorts of things. They do interviews with prior landlords, so know what type of tenant that they take care of the property. We're doing credit reporting so they can help. We want this tenant focus on taking care of your property, so they're building their credit score, so eventually they can buy their own place.
Right.
And those make really good tenants. Another thing that we do that a lot of people I found don't in this area is we do pet screening.
Oh.
So, you
call the landlord of the past pet tenant.
we don't do that, but we get vaccination records.
Okay.
We want to find out, if it's a dog, have they bitten somebody? Is it, is that pet are they likely to do damage or not to a property? And we want to make sure we go through that process, but also you are required by law to accept a service animal. And some people say they have a service animal that may not be a registered service animal.
So
this company is going to verify that. So to make sure, can we charge for that pet or not? And then we're going to get all of that stuff in line. And believe it or not, the way you treat your pet actually tells a lot about the person.
Oh, sure.
So, is the pet sleeping in bed with you and, living a better life than you and I.
Right. And some pets do.
Absolutely. Okay. So, and an interesting fact is over 2/3 of all renters own pets. And that number probably post-pandemic is a lot higher now.
Right.
So if you don't accept pets in your home, you're screening out a large part of your candidate pool. So it is advisable to accept pets. And we want to make sure that we get good pets that are going to,
I've never met someone willing to give up a pet in order to live someplace either.
No,
they just don't live.
No.
And or they try to sneak it in.
So
speaking of sneaking in pets, how often do you do inspections to make sure they're not sneaking in pets?
So we do biannual inspections. So twice a year we go in, but also if there's any maintenance requests, we have an owner portal, a tenant portal, and a vendor portal tied into our website.
Oh, wow.
So if one of our maintenance people are going in to check on something in the house, they know there's 2 adults, there's a kid, and there's a dog in this house, let's say. And they walk in and all of a sudden there's 5 adults and 4 dogs. They're calling me and saying, hey, we might have an issue here. You need to go check this out. It might be a lease violation.
And you handle all that.
We handle everything for you.
So how do you determine rental rates?
I'll do a rental analysis for them. So similar to when you do a comp study for what home sales are, I do the same thing on rental prices. So I'll have comps in the area, similar houses, and what they're renting for, and then we can gauge an accurate assessment. I want to have a signed lease within 30 days. If it's vacant longer than that, then they're losing money. So I'm acting in the owner's interest, just like you are. And so we want to be able to maximize the return for our owners. Okay.
So how do you find your tenants? Is there a shortage of tenants?
Well, there's a shortage of housing in Knoxville right now. That's for sure.
I know there's people are looking for places to rent.
Absolutely. So we syndicate our listings out to at least 30 or 40 different websites that are out there, and so they come back through and they filter back into us, where we're able to go ahead and pre-screen people and only show qualified applicants the home and get them in there, and then once they like the home and they fill out the application, then we turn that, it takes a couple of days on that. They meet all the qualifications, and then we have them sign the lease.
All right. Well, Dan, is there anything that I didn't bring up that you'd like to talk about?
On my website, if you scroll down towards the bottom, there's a rental calculator.
Okay.
You can see the benefits over the long haul.
So they could do that without calling you?
Correct.
Like if they just want to explore on their own.
Correct.
And not get into commitment or anything, or a conversation even. They just want to run some numbers. You can do that on your website.
But the magic, as you know, in real estate is building that equity over the long haul. Right. You can get cash flow short term, and that can be coming in, but that equity is really where you accumulate wealth.
Right.
So, and all of our fees, by the way, transparent pricing, we have it right on our website, KeyRenter.Knoxville.com, KeyRenter, Knoxville.com.
Why don't you go ahead and give us your phone number too?
865-999-4KEY. That's 4539. 865-999-4539.
Okay, great. Well, Dan, I really appreciate you coming out today and spending some time with me to talk about this. If you or anyone you know is interested in buying or selling a house or renting your house, give me a call. My name is Richard Rackley. My number is 865-326-3736. Thanks for watching.